I hear a lot of people saying this term.
Are you really him?
Or are you just saying you're him?
Find out next. Hey.
This is the Hear Him Out Show, a show we created for men to be heard where women are welcome to listen.
Yo, what's good, beautiful people? My name is Monty, a.k.a. Mr. Motivation.
And I am Shakim. Blessings.
And this is the Hear Him Out Show, a place for men to be heard where women are welcome to listen.
And our aim is to speak truth, add value, and offer a perspective that has the opportunity to lead to growth and elevation.
Woo, we got a barn burner for you today.
Shit.
Yo, let's get it, Shakim. So today's episode is entitled, Are You Really Him? Now, I know y'all hear online all the time, I'm him. I'm a big basketball fan, and I love it. Austin Reeves of the LA Lakers, right? You got the white boy of the team. He was hitting some threes in the last playoffs, and he's like, I'm him. He looked like a Mormon boy, right? But he's like, it's funny, but it's a confidence thing, right? To be like, yo, I'm him. And now I do believe that in one aspect or another in our life, we are all him. But it's not just about saying it. It's about embodying it. And today we're going to talk a little bit about accountability. So let's start with this, Shakim. Accept the part you play in your own unhappiness. We cannot keep pointing the finger, placing the blame on other people, fellas. Like, if you say you're him, you have to begin by taking full accountability for your life. And one thing we got to first hit on that I feel a lot of fellows struggle with is imposter syndrome.
Man, imposter syndrome is tricky. I dealt with that firsthand a few times. I grew up with a lot of pressure on me when it comes to my artistry. I grew up being raised by a perfectionist. And so every little note, every little thing, I'm a singer. I grew up with brothers who are singers. My father's a singer. His mom was a singer. Her mom was an opera singer. Singers. One off note could equal a whooping at any time. So the pressure was always on.
Were you raised by Joe Jackson?
You could have been. Could have been.
Really?
He studied him closely.
Yeah, Marlon.
Yeah, he's a good man, and I'm grateful for him. But it was very, very strict. And so one time I had the opportunity to sing in front of Stevie Wonder.
Hold up, Stevie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We go to see Stevie, randomly got an opportunity to go to Stevie Wonder's house. And we're looking at each other like, holy fucking shit. We get to fucking do it for the best. So we're like getting ready, preparing. We're all perfectionists, right? And so we get there, and I've never been more scared in my life because it's just his house with his family. It's not like a party or anything. It's Christmas at his house. And so I'm there, and I'm like, I know we're going to sing, and there's no way I'm prepared to sing in front of Stevie fucking Wonder. Oof. And I'm just one time I go to the fucking bathroom and have that Paul Rudd conversation with myself from Wanderlust. I'm like, you're going to fucking do this. You're going to step it up. But then there's another voice in my head saying, you're not ready for this. That's Stevie Wonder. You're only whatever age years old. I was probably still a teenager. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm not ready for it now and we're here, then what the hell am I going to do about it? Just suck, you know?
Right.
I can either just be whack as hell or I can step up to the plate and experience a transcending moment. This is me talking to myself as a teenager.
If you don't handle the imposter syndrome, fellas, what it's going to leak into is the self-sabotaging. Because when you don't believe you are him, right? Even if you may have put in the work to be him, even if you actually embody those traits, but because you believe the false narratives out there of maybe something you've heard when you're a childhood, or you talking about, growing up in the perfectionist mindset, right? A lot of this shit from childhood that made us at an early age questioning our confidence, our ability, our worth, you're going to self-sabotaging, right? And one thing I used to do to self-sabotage when I first moved to LA, now I'm a working, living actor, okay, yeah. Right? I make a living. You can find me on the Tyler Perry Show, sisters. I got a couple series regulars, got a couple movies. We growing, all right? It took me a while. And early on, when I first got here and I was broke and I was sleeping in homeless shelters, I was sleeping in cars, I was sleeping on friends' couches, I was like, yo, do I really think I'm worthy of this? Can I really make a living off my craft, off of my art, off my dream? And it was a lot of self-sabotaging. And I would do that by this. And let me put in the comment section, fellas, if you can admit this, okay? I used to do this. I used to not go as hard on the audition. Like if there was an audition that I just wasn't ready for it, because I'm a leading man type. I always get those things, and I'm like, damn, this is tough. I would audition, I would break it down, but I would purposely not go as hard as I knew I could, so that when it didn't happen, instead of seeing that loss as a lesson and transforming that into wisdom, I should say, I would be like, oh, I wasn't going to get it anyways.
Yeah.
So I would put an excuse in place so that I can feel good about not getting this thing that I really wanted. That is classic self-sabotaging.
That's tricky.
You're setting yourself up for failure so that you have an excuse to be like, I didn't even go that hard anyways. I didn't even want it anyways. And sometimes we do that with dating, fellas. Now in the comment section, let's be transparent.
Hey.
I believe dudes who have had multiple relationships, there's at least one relationship you can say you had a good woman that you let slip away and you self-sabotage. Now, a lot of women out there will have you think, oh, you're just being a dog or whatever. But sometimes when a dude, and this is going to be real, sometimes when a dude doesn't know his worth or really believe it, and he gets a woman that reflects that really sees his potential, that really sees him, and he doesn't feel like he's worthy of it, he will find a way to mess it up.
Man, I absolutely did that one time, and when I'm looking back on it now, I'm seeing that this woman who was older than me, so she was further along, she was established in her career,
okay.
She was way more emotionally mature, et cetera, et cetera. She was basically showing me the man that I would need to become in order to be with a woman like that, and I wasn't ready to become that.
Hold up, pause, hear him out. So
yeah,
you saying she was showing you the man you need to become in order to be with a woman like her.
Yeah, and I would look at that man that I needed to be, and I would say, fuck that, I'm gonna just go fuck somebody else and fuck it up.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage.
And why is that? It's intimidating.
Yeah, it's intimidating, and being a man, being a real man, being him requires being able to bear a certain amount of responsibility.
Ooh, the weight of responsibility.
Yeah, so when I look up to certain people, I look up to people who can bear a certain amount of life, and therefore they are intellectual, they are competent, they are spiritually sound, but it's because they're able to hold life on their shoulders, like Atlas, like the mythical god who's holding it. It seems strenuous, but the journey of a man is being able to bear weight. And we look at that when we're young, and we're like, "Fuck, I don't want to bear that fucking weight yet. I don't want to pay my rent on time.
Yo,
I don't want to fucking.
I don't want to sacrifice. I don't want to be faithful to this woman I'm in love with because I'm still lusting after other women, and the responsibility to be a good enough man and to be loyal and to make sure you handle your stuff so you don't give in to that. That's too much for a lot of people, for a lot of dudes. And so I think with the self-sabotaging, you got to give yourself some grace, right? If you can't say you're him and then not live it, not embody it. And that's so very important, because that imposter syndrome, that self-sabotaging, that's just going to lead to the fake shit.
Yeah.
So you got to, when you guys here on this space, hopefully we're going to do our best to stay away from the toxic masculinity shit, right? But that's why you hear these dudes who are over alpha, over toxic. They're compensating because they know deep down inside they don't feel like they're him, but they say it. They put on the clothes like him. They drive the car like him. They speak like him. But you're not him if you got to overcompensate and let everybody know you're him at every damn drop of a dime, family.
You're not him if you have to convince yourself that you're him.
Ooh, hold up. Ooh. Nigga. Hear him out. Say that again for the people in the back, brother.
This is for my niggas in the back, bro. You're not him if you have to convince yourself that you're him. And it's okay to accept and look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm not him yet.
Yes.
I have a vague picture of what it can be, and so we're going to work towards it. So we actually have structures that we've used to work towards it.
Okay, so accepting you're not him is the first step, right? And one thing you got to look at is your habits, right? You can't say, oh, I'm him, I'm that dude, but what are your day-to-day habits? What are you actually doing to go forward in that, like to move towards that goal, that idealistic man that really says you're him? Like, I can genuinely say right now, unapologetically, I'm him. My life reflects that I'm him. I couldn't say this 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I would be doing like you're saying. I would convince myself I'm him, right? Now, if I can be transparent and completely honest, I'm an actor. And about 85% of the time, I get on set, I get a piece, I'm like, I'm him. There's about 15% that I'm in constant working on that I doubt. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I'm a series regular. I'm doing stuff. But do I want the billboard? Do I want the Oscar nominations? And it makes me question, am I him? But this is a little nugget I want to leave with the fellas out there. It's something I call healthy amount of doubt. If you're not him, don't lie and say you're him, right? Accept I'm not him. Accept that you have some doubt, but I call it a healthy amount of doubt, right? See, if you have a healthy amount of doubt, what that does is it keeps you honest.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It forces you to make sure, yo, I'm about to hit this stage. Let me go over my notes. Let me go over my songs. Let me go over this audition, whatever it is. And it keeps you honest. It keeps your ego at bay because I have a healthy amount of doubt. I have just enough doubt that makes me not get complacent, that makes me not put in anything less than my absolute best. Now, when you have too much doubt, that's when it goes back to the imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
That's when it goes back to the self-sabotaging. But I think it's healthy for a lot of men to have just enough doubt to make you question, am I him? And then go prove to yourself,
Yeah,
I am.
yeah, I am. And that confirmation every time, it's a form of triumph that I
Facts.
can't even verbalize.
Facts. All right, so you got something. This is my guy. He taught me this, and it's in another episode. But break down the fourth quarter system again. I think it's important for people to kind of hear that again.
So the 4-quarter system is something that I put together because I realized that the man that I wished existed was a man who could harmonize many things at once. So I am a singer, but I'm also just an artist in general. So I'm a martial artist. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm working on my first poetry book right now, and I do these things. And somebody told me that I can't do all of them at one time, that I have to focus on one. And I said, okay, so how can I do all of them at one time? I asked myself, well, when I was in college, I was able to learn Spanish, trig, and history, and child psychology all at one time. So why was I able to do that? And those were all foreign concepts at the time.
Facts.
But it's because of structure. It was just how they structured it. You're able to learn multiple things in a dense amount at one time. So I broke my day into 4 quarters and pretty much put myself back in school. So I developed this 4-quarter system so that I can find a way to inculcate all these characteristics that I wished I could embody. And so the first quarter was always meditation. The second would be movement. The third would be music or creativity. Sometimes I would shoot, but mostly music. And then the fourth would be studies, whether it was reading 30 pages or watching a lecture. And by doing all those things, I could find versions of myself that could complete who it was that I saw myself being. And slowly but surely it would happen. And I was constantly delving into the unknown. My movement consisted of training.
Right.
It consisted of combat. It consisted of dance. It was all types of things. And then the studies too. It went from spirituality to psychology, everything. And so I think your 4 quarters can be designed however you want. It can be characteristics that you can design yourself, you know.
And it's just a structure, y'all. Because when you talk about being him, right? Look at whoever your favorite athlete, your favorite artist or whatever, they're him because they do something specific that's very unique to them at a very high level, right? So my life right now, I'm married, I'm a new dad. I don't have the time I had before my kids got here, right? So I used to be able to do what you do for your 4th quarters. Bam, bam, bam. I don't get to do that. So I have to have a nanny, and I break my 4th quarters up into 4 hours. So I'll use an hour to journal, to meditate, to write. I'll use an hour to actually do something physical, train with you. I'll use an hour to handle business, hit up emails or whatever. And then maybe I'll use an hour to actually do some chilling with my wife, for instance, right? So that might be part of my 4th quarter system. But I got to use part of my day. If I break my day into 4 quarters, it's daddy mode, me mode, daddy mode, me and wifey mode.
Hey.
So pretty much the 4th quarter, it's just, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just a way to structure your day, structure your time so that you're kind of in alignment and moving with intention with everything you're trying to do.
Yes, amen.
So
towards where you want to be. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So let's get into the segment of the day.
Yes.
All right. So the segment of the day is the men's mental health tip. Fellas, hear me out. Don't fake it till you make it. Embody until you body it. What do I mean by that? The idea of faking it till you make it is kind of what we've been talking about. You're saying you're him, but you don't embody that you're him. You're saying you're him, but your habits, you're saying you're him, but you don't embody him. You dress like him, you walk like him, you talk like him, but your day-to-day actions and habits are not in alignment and they're not intentional to make you him. That's why we use the 4th quarter system. So instead of faking it till you make it, acknowledge I'm not him yet. I'm doing that right now, right? We said at the top of the show, accept the parts you play in your own unhappiness. I look at my acting career, even though I'm blessed because I make a living off of it, bro, I ain't no Michael B. Jordan. I ain't on no billboards. I'm not in Oscar-worthy films. Yet.
That's it.
Yet. And so I have to take accountability for it and like, why is that? I need to get up on my skills better. I need to get in touch with me better. I need to gain more experience on set. So maybe I need more roles first. now I don't have to fake it. I can be honest and transparent with myself. You're not him yet. There's a reason why you're not at the Oscars right now. There's things I have to do in order to get there. So instead of faking it till I make it, I'm going to embody it until I body it.
That's a bar.
Like I look at my favorite actors. I'm like, okay, what do they do? Chiwetel Ejiofor, one of my favorite actors, right? I look at him, I study him, I deconstruct, and I'm like, oh, I look in his eyes. He's always having thoughts going on. And I realize with my auditions, I'm listening, but I'm not really listening. Like right now, I'm listening. I'm taking it in. Why, when I get to auditions, I'm not doing that? I look at my man Chiwetel. I'm like, you have thoughts going on in the back of your head. So I believe everything you're saying because you're responding honestly. So I can be honest with myself. I ain't got to fake it. I'm going to embody those traits of those I look up to. And then eventually, if you do that long enough, it becomes that. There's no more faking it. I am him.
That is
Make
marvelous,
sense?
bro. I think that's one of the most important bars I've ever heard because that to me is the epitome of manifestation.
Ooh, facts.
I think that's beautiful, bro.
Ooh, manifestation.
Yeah.
Manifestation.
Mm.
We're gonna flesh that out later. But we're gonna wrap this show up. And one thing we like to do here, we like to clear the space. We like to leave y'all in a better state than you were when you got here and you started listening or watching. And we like to leave the space itself in a better place. So my man Shakim, how we gonna clear the space today?
I brought my flute today, so I'm gonna give some blissful air.
Let's get it. Ashe, yo, this was a vibe. I hope we gave y'all some substance. I hope we gave y'all some value today, okay? And thank y'all once again for vibing with us on the Hear 'Em Out Show, a place for men to be heard where women are welcome to listen.
Our aim is to speak truth, add value, and offer a perspective that has the opportunity to lead to growth and elevation.
Hey, Ashe, we love y'all. Till next time, peace.